Every year, the world eats so many Doritos that the number is almost pointless to imagine. Thousands of tons, millions of bags. And yet, almost nobody has seen where they're really made. Not because it's boring, but because the Doritos factory runs like a snack fortress. Badges, locked doors, restricted zones. Some employees aren't even allowed to film the production floor. Because inside this building, Doritos isn't just chips. It's a system designed to do one thing perfectly, at insane speed. Take plain corn and turn it into bold, addictive triangles every single day. So today, we're going inside the process you were never supposed to watch. And once you see what happens to the corn, you'll never look at a Doritos bag the same way again.
Chapter 1. The accident that became an empire.
Doritos didn't start as a billion-dollar obsession. It started as leftovers. Yeah, leftovers. In the 1960s, a marketing executive noticed something being thrown away, broken tortillas that couldn't be sold. Most people saw waste. He saw a product. Cut them into triangles, fry them, season them. That's it. A simple idea that exploded into one of the most recognizable snacks on the planet. Even the name is a flex. Dorito comes from a Spanish word meaning little golden pieces. And honestly, that's exactly what they are.
Chapter 2. Why Doritos is not a chip.
Here's the first big difference. Most chips begin as potatoes. Doritos begins as corn. That changes everything. Because potatoes, you can slice. Corn has to be rebuilt. You can't slice a kernel into a Dorito. You have to transform it into dough first. Which is why, when you step into a Doritos plant, it doesn't feel like a kitchen. It feels like a grain facility, with security like a bank.
Chapter 3. The corn arrives.
The journey begins in cornfields. Corn grows quietly for months, and then disappears in hours. Harvesters rip through acres with brutal speed, cutting, pulling, collecting tons and tons of corn. Some of these harvesters can handle around 140 tons a day. That's not farming anymore. That's extraction. Then comes the convoy. Truck after truck arrives at the plant, unloading massive volumes like it's feeding a machine. Because the factory can't stop, not for a day, not even for an hour. So the first wow moment isn't frying, it's storage. Towering silos, giant corn tanks, hold enough grain to keep production moving non-stop. Inside, conditions are controlled. Temperature stays stable. Humidity is managed. Moisture is watched carefully. Because bad corn doesn't just taste bad, it breaks the whole process.
Chapter 4. Cleaning the first filter.
Before the corn touches heat, it gets cleaned like it's entering a laboratory. Vibrating screens shake out dust. Systems remove stones and sand, because one rock in the wrong machine can destroy equipment. This part isn't flashy, but it tells you everything. Doritos isn't one big secret. It's 1,000 small controls stacked perfectly so every chip behaves the same.
Chapter 5. The lime bath step nobody expects.
Now comes the step most people don't expect inside a modern factory. A process that's older than Doritos, older than the US. Nixtamalization. The corn is cooked in hot water, often with a small amount of alkaline solution, like lime. This does something powerful. It softens the kernel and changes how the starch behaves. In simple words, the factory is turning hard corn into something that can become dough. The corn cooks briefly, then it soaks for hours. During soaking, moisture travels deep into every kernel. The outer skin loosens, the grain becomes pliable, and when the moisture reaches the right level, the next transformation can finally begin.
Chapter 6, Washing and Separation.
After soaking, the water drains out. Residue rises. Outer layers float. Husks separate. Then pumps push the softened kernels forward into washing systems that blast away whatever remains. What's left is clean, hydrated corn. The real starting line for Doritos.
Chapter 7, Grinding Corn into Play-Doh.
Now the corn meets the grinders. Heavy stones, or stone-like industrial grinding surfaces, rotate fast, crushing kernels into a thick dough. This dough is called masa. And yes, it literally looks like Play-Doh. But here's the obsession. Masa can't be too wet. It can't be too dry. It can't be too coarse. It can't be too smooth. Technicians monitor three big factors: moisture, temperature, and grind texture. Because if masa is wrong by even a little, the next step fails. And the next step is where Doritos becomes Doritos. Because once the factory has a river of warm corn dough, it's time to punch out triangles at a speed so fast it looks fake.
Chapter 8, Turning Dough into a River.
Now the factory has something it worked very hard to earn: a continuous river of warm corn dough. This masa doesn't stop. It can't stop, because the moment it rests too long, its texture changes. The dough is pushed forward and fed into massive rolling systems. Heavy steel rollers flatten the masa again and again and again, until it becomes a thin, uniform sheet. Thickness here isn't a suggestion, it's a rule. Too thick? The chip won't cook evenly. Too thin? It breaks before it ever reaches the bag. So sensors constantly measure the sheet while technicians watch the surface with trained eyes. Because this sheet is about to become millions of Doritos.
Chapter 9, The Triangle Machine.
The sheet of dough moves forward and meets the cutter, a rotating roller embedded with thousands of triangle-shaped dies. Think of it like a cookie cutter if it never stopped moving. As the roller spins, sharp edges punch cleanly through the dough. Perfect triangles every second. One machine alone can cut around 6,000 chips per minute. That's over 8 million Doritos triangles every single day. And here's something most people don't notice. Doritos aren't sharp triangles. The corners are rounded. That wasn't an accident. In the 1990s, Doritos spent $50 million redesigning the chip. 20% larger, 15% thinner, rounded edges. Why? Because sharp corners break, and broken chips don't sell. Engineering for your mouth.
Chapter 10, Nothing is Wasted.
It's not trash, it's recycled. Scraps are collected, fed back into the system, and remixed with fresh masa. Every bit of corn is used, because waste slows production. And this factory is allergic to slowing down.
Chapter 11, The Oven That Creates the Bubbles.
The triangles still aren't crunchy. They're soft, flexible, almost fragile. So before oil ever touches them, they enter the oven. Not a normal oven. A 3-tier industrial oven running at temperatures up to 340 degrees Celsius. That's over 640 degrees Fahrenheit. And yet, the chips stay inside for only about 16 seconds. This step isn't about cooking them through, it's about preparing them. The intense heat instantly seals the outer surface of the dough. Moisture inside turns into steam. The steam pushes outward. And that's how the bubbles form. Those tiny air pockets are trapped inside the chip. They're not decoration, they're structure. They make Doritos lighter, crispier, and stronger. 16 seconds. That's all it takes to define the texture.
Chapter 12, The Cooling Pause.
After the oven, the chips need a moment. They ride slow-moving conveyors, cooling slightly. This pause matters. Too hot, and the fryer behaves unpredictably. Too cool, and the oil won't interact correctly. Inspectors also scan the chips here, watching for rare burns or deformities. Only the cleanest triangles move on. Now comes the heat everyone expects.
Chapter 13, the 55-second fry.
The chips drop onto a mesh conveyor and plunge into oil. Thousands of liters of canola oil. Held steady at around 182 degrees Celsius, about 360 Fahrenheit. The chips don't sink. They ride through the oil on the conveyor's path. Total fry time? Just 55 seconds. Less than a minute. Inside the fryer, the trapped moisture turns to steam again. The bubbles expand. The structure locks in. Oil replaces water. And in under 1 minute, the chip becomes crunchy, golden, rigid, distinctly Doritos. This is where the crunch is born.
Chapter 14, oil control and quality.
Oil isn't just heat, it's chemistry. If oil sits too long, exposed to air, it degrades. So Doritos uses a closed-loop oil system. Excess oil drains away, filters remove debris, and clean oil cycles back into the fryer. From raw corn to this stage, the entire process has taken less than 15 minutes.
Chapter 15, from bland to bold.
Fresh from the fryer, the chips are crunchy, but plain. This is where Doritos becomes Doritos. The chips enter the seasoning drum, a massive rotating barrel that gently tumbles them like laundry. First comes a fine mist of oil. Not for flavor, for adhesion, so the seasoning sticks. Then comes the powder. Large bags of seasoning, a secret blend of cheeses, spices, salt, sugar, and flavor enhancers, including MSG, are fed into the drum. As the drum rotates, chips collide softly, coating each other instead of breaking. This drum doesn't just flavor, it protects.
Chapter 16, even coating every chip.
Inside the drum, every surface matters. The combination of oil mist, falling seasoning, and constant tumbling creates perfect coverage. Top, bottom, edges. No bare spots, no clumps. By the time a chip exits the drum, it's fully transformed. Bright, bold, unmistakably Doritos. Different flavors use the same process, only the powder changes. Cool Ranch, nacho cheese, spicy blends. Same machine, different addiction.
Chapter 17, the cool-down journey.
Right after seasoning, the chips are perfect. But they're not ready. They're still warm, still fragile. And warm chips don't belong in bags. So the Doritos begin one last journey. A long cooling conveyor stretching nearly 30 meters. Here, time slows down. The chips glide forward gently, air flowing across their surface. This cooling step does two things. First, it prevents steam from forming inside the bag. Second, it allows the seasoning to fully set, so the flavor doesn't slide off. Only when the chips reach room temperature are they cleared for packaging.
Chapter 18, the weighing machines.
Now the pace changes again. Fast. The cooled Doritos rise upward into the packaging floor. Here they meet one of the most impressive machines in the entire factory, the multi-head weigher. Each unit contains 14 individual weighing scales. 14. Chips are distributed across the scales randomly. In milliseconds, a computer calculates the perfect combination that adds up to the target bag weight. Once the math is solved, trap doors open. The chips fall. This entire calculation takes about 30 milliseconds, faster than blinking. Every bag gets fairness. No guessing, no shortcuts, just precision.
Chapter 19, how the bag is born.
While the chips are falling, the bag is being created. Doritos bags start as flat rolls of plastic and aluminum film. Machines pull the film downward, shape it into a tube, seal the back seam, and crimp the bottom. All in one motion. The weighed chips drop in, and immediately, the top seals shut. At the same time, the bottom of the next bag is already being formed. Fill, seal, cut. Over and over again.
Chapter 20, the air that isn't air.
Now comes the step most people misunderstand. That air in your Doritos bag? It's not air. It's nitrogen. Before sealing, the machine flushes the bag with nitrogen gas. Nitrogen pushes out oxygen, and oxygen is the enemy. Oxygen makes oils go stale. It dulls flavor. It ruins crunch. Nitrogen stops that. It also inflates the bag, creating a protective cushion, so your chips survive shipping. That puffiness? It's not a scam. It's armor.
Chapter 21, final quality checks.
Before boxes are sealed, quality control steps in. Random bags are pulled. Inspectors check weight, seal integrity, seasoning coverage. They also monitor moisture levels, oil content, and temperature. If something is off, the line adjusts immediately. Because consistency is everything. A Doritos in Texas must taste the same as one in New York.
Chapter 22, boxing and robotic handling.
Finished bags move to boxing. Some factories still use human hands. Others rely on robots. Robotic arms with soft suction cups lift bags effortlessly. Strong enough to hold, gentle enough not to crush. Boxes are stacked, wrapped, stabilized. Each carton is checked, often 8 bags per box. Then the cartons move onward.
Chapter 23, the logistics machine.
Doritos becomes global. Pallets glide through warehouses on automated vehicles. No drivers, no shouting, just silent choreography. From here, trucks fan out. Doritos isn't made in one place. It's produced in multiple factories across regions. Why? Freshness and speed. The closer the factory, the fresher the chip. From cornfield to store shelf, the journey can be just a few weeks.
Chapter 24, why Doritos is addictive.
Now comes the part most people never think about. Doritos isn't just food. It's designed experience. Each chip delivers a sharp crunch at first bite, followed by rapid breakdown, then a clean finish. Salt hits fast, then fades. Your brain wants to repeat it. The triangle shape increases tongue contact. The bubbles amplify crunch. The seasoning activates multiple taste receptors. And the bite ends just fast enough to make the next one feel necessary. That's not an accident.
Chapter 25, why this system is hard to copy.
Many brands try to copy Doritos. Most fail. Not because of recipes, but because of scale. Doritos depends on custom corn, nixtamalization control, high-speed shaping, 2-stage cooking, precision seasoning, and logistics timed to the hour. Miss one piece, and the crunch collapses. That Dorito in your hand isn't simple. It survived science, speed, heat, and automation. Also, one moment, that single crunch feels perfect. So next time you open a bag, remember what it took to get there. And be honest, can you eat just one?